Bum, 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 bum.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Today, here we go. We're on episode 4. We had a little difficulties with episode 3, but it is now online for everyone to view. And we've got a special guest. My father, Vern Miller, is here today. Drove down from Casper, Wyoming, so we're excited to pick his brain a little bit. How you doing, Phil?
It's good to see you. Virtually.
Yeah. I've seen you on your podcast for last few weeks, but haven't seen you in person for a long time.
Yeah. So this is great. So what's new in the life of let's catch up with Vern. What's going on in the life of Vern?
Oh, just boring Vern life. Being a gardener, just trying to figure out, trying to accept the role of being retired, I guess.
Okay. But staying busy?
Yeah, I don't know how I had time for a job.
Yeah.
It's true, though.
Yeah.
He came down, drove down through Colorado, and made it here on Thursday night. We ended up going out, but last night we went down to First Fridays.
Oh, nice.
Which he really liked. We went down to he met up with an old friend that lives down here, and it was good for them to catch up, and went to some cool jazz bar down there. I forgot what it was called, but listened to some experimental jazz, which is always a quite a treat to listen to.
Oh, it was beautiful, just soft and smooth, and they were good.
That's great. Nice. Did you which places did you go? Did you go Lost Leaf or anything like that?
No, we didn't go to Lost Leaf. It was actually closed. It looked like it wasn't open. Like the door wasn't open. It didn't have like the big, all their stuff out. But
I heard that they closed the Roosevelt like a while ago.
Yeah, dude, it's no longer open.
That's disappointing. Did they have anything like to replace it?
Not yet, but there's actually all those houses down there. People are buying them up. There's right next to the Lost Leaf. There's a coffee shop. And then there's like a munchie shop right next door to it. And so they're starting to do some big things in that area, which is really cool. It's really coming into its own, actually, I feel.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I've heard. A lot of people are living in downtown Phoenix.
Yeah. Once ASU pumped all their money in there, man, it's really taken the place off. Like, when a university could pump millions of dollars into a blighted downtown, things kind of happen.
Yeah, it's definitely the hipster thing to do.
There are a lot of hipsters down there, dude. Old city centers are just beautiful places, though. The old architecture, and you're kind of mixing the old history of what's been there, but now you're kind of bringing it back to life with new stuff that's current, and it's a nice blend.
Yeah.
So it's like Phoenix Remix.
It is, exactly.
Remix, just taking like samples from the old and giving it a little Skrillex music.
I like that.
Phoenix Remix by Skrillex.
Exactly.
I don't know if a lot of people like that choice.
Yeah.
We go with Xander Kleinenberg or something.
Something a little more hip.
A little more obscure. Okay, so I get press passes from work to E3 this year. So
really? When is it?
I get to take the train down from work and just go with my camera and go film all the cool devices. This will be my first time going. I get to go to all the press conferences on June 10th. I get to go see Microsoft unveil the new Xbox live. I can bring my camera in. I get to go see Sony's press event. I get to go see EA's and Ubisoft's.
Damn, man.
I'm really excited about that, man. So not only am I going to get to go, but I'm going to get original content for our YouTube channel, Fragburn, and be able to start basically doing interviews. I'll be able to interview anybody, all the game developers.
To give everyone a little background, E3 is the electronics conference where they unveil all the new devices and all the new things that all the electronics companies are unveiling for 2013, or even 2014, which is really, it's awesome if you enjoy electronics. And so it's so cool that you're gonna actually be able to go down there, take your camera, You know, having a press pass gives you just like ultimate reign to do anything.
Yeah, it's like I like imagine the Wayne's World, like, you know, the like flashing it, like yeah. Hey, my girlfriend's in there. Like, a lot of people's girlfriends.
Yeah.
So segueing into this is some interesting news in the gaming world. So I looked at the schedule for E3 the first day, and Nintendo has canceled their keynote at E3. That's really big news because it's Nintendo not having anything new to announce and like being behind the curve. And they were $350 million short of their estimations from like Wii U. So like, it's strange to just have Nintendo be starting to become, you know, get beat down.
Dude, they're falling off. Well, like they were always trying to be like the underdog or like the like lowest price point, and they didn't really establish like we were talking about last week. They didn't establish their brand. Their brand is established in the '80s. And they were trying to like hold on to something and be like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Like when the Wii came out, they thought they would go up, but it's almost like that was like the last breath before their death.
I know, and well, what's strange is that obviously, you know, Nintendo was never afraid to innovate. You know, that's the one thing. Hold on one second.
Okay.
You guys just remind me. I need my coffee.
Okay.
So yeah, it's crazy because Nintendo's always been the one to innovate, right? Like they, as far as taking the most risks. I mean, they've always taken risks. I mean, think about like Virtual Boy. Like think about that one. Remember Virtual Boy? It was a little 3D unit that would stand on your counter, and you would look into it, and it was only red. You could only see it in red, but it was 3D. Like so, you know, they take a lot of risks. So you know, they've had their ups and downs, but yeah, it's crazy just that they're really just like, they canceled E3. They have nothing new to announce. Like Wii U is their new system that just came out. It's not selling well, and they're going to be behind the curve because, you know, Xbox and PS4 come out at the end of the year.
So what do you think about the new Xbox and PS4?
I don't know anything about the new Xbox. The new PS4 is going to be, you know, it's going to be cool. It's kind of becoming monotonous. It's just the next step, you know. It's not even that big of a step. I don't know. It's kind of strange because it's not like Moore's law isn't really applying to the gaming world as much as, I mean, maybe it'll change, but like from PS2 to PS3, there was such a big leap there.
Yeah.
Or like Xbox 360. I mean, because it was like that was going from standard definition to high definition. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's still high definition. It's just like better. You know what I mean? So it's not really a huge leap forward.
Well, hopefully, like I was thinking about it, they need to make it like a computer for your like home entertainment. Like not only just have video games, but have ability for like all of your videos, have like all your channels, but also have a browser. Like having a browser and having the ability to browse at your home like TV screen. That's where it needs to move into, is where they're starting to take over the computer industry. I think they're trying to stay in the niche of gaming, but gaming is becoming so much more advanced, and that console needs to be used for the computer aspect of it. It's an awesome computer, so they need to expand that scope of what they're actually working in.
Yeah, I mean, remember when PS3 came out, the military bought like, you know, 10,000 units because they were like supercomputers.
Yeah.
You know, they were like so fast they were just using those to process them, like you know, running Linux on them and like using them as processors because they were just like really powerful computers.
They started running them in parallel, and I remember PlayStation got all upset about it. It's like you should, like once again, open source, and you should let your community take your devices and run with it, because then they're gonna find stuff that like the intellectual capital you have within your company is far less than your community. Your community is so much greater, and they have so much more intellectual capital than what you have inside of this, like, you know, secure little dome that you think is going on.
Yeah, you're not limited. I mean, I think Gabe Newell and like Valve are a perfect example. They're like the most open source, you know, company, and they, you know, the community comes up with like mods and I mean, like, you know, you've watched the video about like the hats, for instance, like that being a commodity. It's funny that, you know, the users come up with that content, and it's like way more, and like even, you know, somebody as intelligent as Gabe Newell says, you know, they come up with stuff that there's no way that our developers could come up with.
Exactly.
I mean, it's the ethos of it.
So here's a little flashback real quick.
Okay.
What we were just talking about. Hold on.
I'm sorry. No. Okay, sorry. Come on. I'm sorry. No.
Alex, is this cool? Yeah, come on in. Sorry to bother you, but we had to come and tell you how much we really enjoyed the show, didn't we, guys? Oh, thanks. We're not mental or anything, so don't be afraid. My name is Wayne, and this is Garth. Nice to meet you guys.
I
Classic.
thought that was very apropos to the moment.
Classic. So now I have to go make a video like that at E3.
You need to, dude. And it'll become the meme, dude. That's the thing is, like, what makes videos popular on YouTube now is taking pop culture and remixing it, dude. It's the remix culture like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some of the things I've seen on that is it almost loses the original loses identity because there are so many different remakes of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's funny now, like when you hear music or samples of, let's say, like a hip hop artist, and the younger generation will be like, oh no, that's a Drake song. You're like, no, like that's actually a Led Zeppelin sample. Like, it's not, I don't know. That's a very bad example because I don't think that's ever happened.
Or like Vanilla Ice and Ice Ice Baby, like
yeah.
It's like perfect. You're like, oh, dude, that's an Ice Ice Baby song.
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of that, do you remember use for why he said it wasn't a rip-off of Under Pressure?
Yeah, he's like, well, it's dun na 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 na, and ours is dun na 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 na.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up. Okay.
Yeah, without the hi-hat.
Here we go. This is like how can you describe Vanilla Ice? Just one of the most brilliant, men to live in the 90s. All right, here we go. Let's see here.
Vanilla Ice, but yeah, all those samples, dude. Or like, there was an old rap song that used like a Sting song or like a Police song.
Oh, yeah, that was Puff Daddy. That was a Puff Daddy song.
Puff Daddy,
Puff Daddy. Latin guy from suburban Miami Lakes, Florida, who calls himself Vanilla Ice. Well, Ice Ice Baby, the number 4 chart, has an admittedly great groove, but then it was great when David Bowie and Queen first came up with it. We caught up with Vanilla Ice on the Club MTV Presents tour with MC Hammer, and here's what he had to say for himself.
I get it.
Look at that dance move, dude.
What you have to have is something that stands out. If you don't have anything that stands out, then you don't have anything. So, and I don't like to look at the point that I'm white, being in predominantly black market. I don't like that to be the part standing out, but I mean, I'm sure it does. To some people, it makes some kind of difference, but I like to think, that it doesn't.
Vanilla Ice would like to think it's his music that stands out. He's opened up shows for Public Enemy, Tone Loc, and MC Hammer, but does a white rapper from Miami Lakes, Florida worry about being accepted in the very urban-oriented rap community?
Doesn't matter if I'm from the streets or not. That's where I learned to rap.
Like many other rappers, Vanilla Ice includes samples and re-recorded versions of other songs for background beats on his debut album, To the Extreme. In fact, Ice's top 5 pop hit, Ice Ice Baby, has a rhythm track that's almost identical to the 1982 Queen and David Bowie hit, Under Pressure. Recently, when MC Hammer used the bass line from Super Freak in his #1 single, You Can't Touch This, he gave half of the writing credit to Rick James. But for Ice Ice Baby, Ice only gives credit to himself and his DJ Earthquake.
It doesn't sound anything like Under Pressure. The only part that sounds like Under Pressure is the hook. We sampled them from him, but it's not the same bass line. Like it goes ding 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 ding. That's the way theirs goes. Ours goes ding 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 ding. Ding, 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 that little bitty change. It's not the same.
Is that a legal definition?
He's been catching
Wise words.
black for 20 years now.
Wise words from a wise man.
Yeah, with sweet chops on the side and a nice skunk streak down in the middle of his hair.
God, the 90s were that was an interesting decade. I would say like the funniest thing about the 90s, the worst thing that happened in the 90s was like a 3-day war and a blowjob. That was the worst.
How's that happen?
That was the result of the 3-day war.
Yeah.
That's how it ended.
It was so funny. A kid I go to school with, he posted a picture of like him at his wedding, and right now he's balding and he just shaves his head. But in this picture, he had a flat top, dude. And the other day, I went up to him. I'm like, "Did you happen to get married in the '90s?" He's like, "No, I got married in 2002." I'm like, "Oh, so it's just a remnant of the '90s." He's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Dude, you had like a flat top going on. Kind of looked like Vanilla Ice a little bit," and he just started laughing. He's like, "Yeah, it was when I used to have some hair." I'm like, "It must have been a remnant of the '90s."
That's awesome. So you know how I did the Hadoukening?
Yep.
Okay, so here's the new one I gotta emulate. This is pretty great. So this is the new Hadoukening.
Oh yeah.
And it gets better because it's also called like saying "May the Force be with you" with a lisp. May the 4th.
Oh yeah. May the 4th. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So this is May the 4th.
Maybe we'll have to do one of those today and put it up.
Totally.
That's awesome, dude. That's the thing about once again going back to pop culture and memes that are going on. They need to happen immediately, like what's happening now, because like we talked about last episode, things are changing so quickly that people aren't going to care what's happening right now, tomorrow. Like what's happening today, they're going to be like, "Oh, this is something new. This is what's actually going on right now." Yeah,
it's like we're slowly becoming dogs. It's like we're just going to only have a 10-second memory.
Can I pee on the wall?
Yeah, just start peeing on walls because it's too inconvenient to go to the bathroom.
Did you hear about the guy they found with 300 gallons of urine in his house?
Yes, I did. Yeah, and very neatly organized jars, very elaborately organized.
Yeah, they it's like, what is he saving it for? And the joke was that they're saving it for some reality television show like The Urine Hoarders or something like that.
Unreal.
It shows you the quality of the reality television shows that are going on right now.
Yeah. So some crazy stuff happened on May 1st in the film industry. Netflix lost 1,800 titles.
Really?
Yeah, because the contract was up for the licensing on the titles. They lost all the MGM content. South Park is no longer on Netflix.
What? That's probably their best seller, dude. Their best watch.
So 1,800 titles. I believe they added 500 to kind of compensate, but still, I mean, let's still say you're still losing 1,300 titles if you're gonna replace them. But I mean, they lost a lot of classic movies. They lost all the James Bond collection. MGM, I believe, Universal, but don't quote me on that. But a couple studios and so yeah, basically what's happening, and this is not good. All the studios want to have their own proprietary instant watch service. So you're gonna have to subscribe to MGM and to Universal and to every one of them because they all want a piece of the cake. And so
really,
it's gonna get ridiculous. It's like why instead of centralizing it, it's just gonna be diminished. Or I'm sorry, it's gonna be just broken up into all these individual services. That's ridiculous. And you're just going to be paying for what you used to pay for cable. $50 a month.
Dude, that's ridiculous because right now, what is it, 10, and that makes it so much cheaper to actually watch the movies.
Yeah, $8.99 a month, I think, $7.99 a month.
But this is the differentiation stage of that's happening. There was one entity that came out that integrated everything, and now everyone wants a piece of the pie, and so they're going to spread out all of their feelers pretty much, and then You know, here's a good topic we could brainstorm about is what's going to be the next revolution in that movie scene.
But it's not just having a piece of pie. They already had a piece of pie. They just want a bigger piece of pie.
Yeah, they want it all again.
And it's always been like that. And you know, it's terrible because that's all the movie industry does. Is these big studios do. They see these trends that, you know, maybe one entity starts and they just you know, keep, you know, they beat it to death. It's just like for instance, the Paranormal Activity, like, you know, that was like a big movie, and then so it's like then they made like 4 of those, and not only that, but then you had you know, every other studio doing their iteration of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just gets ridiculous. You know what I mean? They're like, oh well, that one worked, and they know that like they'll make a certain amount back, and they'll be like, oh well, it may be 10% less, but like it's still a lot of money.
Exactly,
so
dude.
Keep doing it until it's like it's not a level, you know, at a level to where it's profitable. You know, so they'll just keep milking an idea until it's not a, you know.
Dude, something happened though recently. Like I'm looking at the stock of Netflix.
Wow.
And
well, they announced that they had like a whole bunch more subscribers, like 3 million more subscribers.
Jesus, because like right here on April 20th, it looks like it jumped up. It almost doubled.
Did anything happen on May 2nd?
No, dude, nothing's going on yet. A small drop.
Wow.
Dude,
I did not expect that.
But like the first article that I read.
That's a huge jump. I would be so dang.
Dude, yeah, and I was actually thinking because when they were first talking about who was it? So right here in August, let me go a little bit further. Right here they got down to 55, and that was right when Blockbuster, that whole thing with Blockbuster happened, that they were going to create their own service.
Right.
And the price dropped tremendously, and so now it's up to 216, which is crazy.
Wow. I don't.
That looks a little suspicious to me that they announced they have so many more subscribers just days before they lose all that content.
Yeah, but you know what else? What else I heard, and this may be why it jumped. I read an article. It was probably actually right around when it jumped. Netflix between the hours of 8 p.m. and 8 to midnight, they use up 30% of this country's bandwidth. Netflix alone.
Whoa!
Wow.
30% of the bandwidth. I mean, you gotta. That's
a lot of folks.
Petaflops of information.
Petaflops.
Petaflops. That's 1,000. You know, a petaflop is 1,000 terabytes.
Dude, I've seen some petaflops in my day.
I know that. I know. I didn't want to bring it up. Yeah, and it just kind of slipped out. So I kind of.
But it was fun.
Myself. But yeah, I mean that's insane. Imagine how much information that is, just traffic, just to. I mean, imagine the servers that you have to handle that much traffic. I want to see. I want to see what Netflix server farm looks like.
Dude, exactly. Well, like the thing is though, like when I first searched that stock price, the first article that came up is like, is Netflix a house of cards that's just gonna fall? But dude, think about how many people are making bank on that right now.
Isn't it ironic that they also self-produced a series called House of Cards?
No.
Really?
The Kevin Spacey one, which is really cool, by the way.
Have you watched it?
I have. House of Cards is incredible. And what's great is when they release the seasons, they release them all on one day.
It's so much more fun to watch something in its entirety. Last year when I watched Game of Thrones.
You're right. Right.
I watched the 2 whole first seasons almost within a week or so, and I got totally immersed in the story. And now that the 3rd season's coming out, one at a time. Come on, I've lost interest in it.
I know, and also you just kind of forget what happens week to week. You don't have the same emotion built up like back to back to back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of this roller. It's this weird shift this shift in emotion that you don't have, continuous.
Right now it's just like intervals of spikes weekly, and And, you know, they let that emotion fade before the next one comes, so they don't ever reach a high plateau. When you could literally watch, I remember when I was watching Breaking Bad, I got hooked. I watched 3 or 4 seasons in a row, and it was like, that consumed my week. Like, and you're just escalating that emotional appeal to it, and it gets people hooked, dude.
Emotional addiction.
Yeah, and I totally agree. It's awesome. But what's funny is, it always depends when you get into a show. For instance, like, you know, a lot of shows I try to wait as long as possible. Like, oh, I hear about it. I give it a couple seasons so I can do that, so I can watch them back to back. But then all of a sudden the next season will be on, and I'm like, well, I already started watching it, so I gotta start watching it week to week. You know what I mean? That's what happened with Walking Dead for me, Breaking Bad. I mean, most of the shows I watch, you know, I watched Game of Thrones from the beginning, like True Blood. I mean, obviously, True Blood, we watched to death.
Oh, yeah.
No pun intended. You know, right when it came out. And by the way, remember, that was the best setup, having that projector when we built the screen at our old place.
Dude, I wish I had some pictures of that. That
was a great setup.
Oh, yeah, dude. And then your bed was right there, dude, and then we had the loft on top.
Yeah. Actually, I did post that one clip of, we do have the one clip of projecting the faces.
Do you have it up?
Where did I put that? I put that up on YouTube, didn't I? So if you want to explain what we were doing.
Oh, yeah, we, like, we had this projector, and we had a giant screen like a pull-down screen that we bought that was on the wall. And
was this in the dorm?
This was in the fraternity house.
Yeah.
And so we had it all set up. We used to play games on it. It was literally the best setup. And we actually Phil had a loft that they built in there, and we like put curtains on it, and people could, like, you know, we'd have 10 people in there watching, like, all the movies that were coming out.
Phil's trying to get some sleep up on the top.
Phil's trying to get, like, we'd leave at like 3 in the morning, and then it's like, you know, we'd wake up and, like, we actually had a key to his room, so he never actually got sleep. But we'd like be like, I think he's awake, and it's like jiggle, 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 and we'd go in and start playing the games and, like, just be quiet. But, like, soon you'd see Phil, like, like, grab the pillow and just, like, bury his head down into it for like half an hour, and then he'd like hand me the controller.
Yeah.
But so what we were doing is we had this projector, and you know, we're really interested in art and, you know, all of this other, you know, the just experimenting, and so we were thinking, like, how funny would it be if you projected someone's face over your own face, and how creepy it is. And we were like, it was the creepiest thing, but it was interesting to, like, we were going through pictures. I think he had his computer hooked up to it. We were flipping through pictures, and we had one of, like, a mustache, and we projected it onto my face, but it literally is a mask, and you can't really tell who it is because you have this, like, face projected over the top of you. And I've seen some interesting pictures where they're, like, projecting landscapes. It was like a glamour photography, or it was like a woman's torso, and they had a landscape of, like, you know, Chicago or something that was projected over this girl's torso. And I was like, dude, that's so awesome. But
have you seen when they would do, like, the projections of light shows on buildings, like, to music?
Yeah. Or I've seen some really cool ones. I'll pull it up. It's a projection that they've done on the trees.
In the meantime, while I'm looking for that video.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Check this. This is pretty cool, man. You're gonna love this.
I saw that.
Since we were talking about Xbox, have you seen this?
Oh yeah, this is the only thing I've seen about the Xbox. I'm not sure if I like it.
Did you watch? This is just the new one that came out, though.
IllumiRoom is a proof-of-concept system that augments the room surrounding the television screen with peripheral projected illusions to enhance traditional gaming experiences. For example, such illusions can change the appearance of the room, living room, into a cartoon world. The illusions can distort reality.
That's awesome.
Extend field of view, and enable entirely new gaming experiences.
Now you can't
Our
tell me
vision for
that
a
somebody
productized aluminum system
never did
holds a
LSD
wide
come
field
up
of view
with that.
device that sits on the user's coffee table and can cover a large area surrounding the television. Our current prototype uses a commodity wide field of view projector and a Kinect sensor. The Kinect captures color and geometry of the room, and the projector displays illusions around a television screen. The Illumiroom system is self-calibrating and designed to work in any living room.
Dude,
That's cool.
but
The
that's
most obvious way to increase immersion is to simply extend the content from the television screen out into the room, replacing physical reality with the game's reality. Instead of simply extending the game content, one can focus only on the high contrast features, for example, highlighting only the edges. With Focus plus Context selective, only certain game elements escape the television. For instance, with the first-person shooter, we can bleed only weapons fire or explosions out of the television. We can also display markers representing other characters or key items in the game.
that's awesome.
The room can be used to mask out some areas, making it appear that the game is being played beyond the wall of the room. Illumiroom can change the appearance of the room to match the mood of the on-screen content. For example, one can saturate the room colors, make the room appear black and white, or highlight the room's edges. By distorting and reprojecting the room texture, it is possible to warp reality and make it appear as if the room itself is responding to the game.
Dude, this is
Who needs
It can
drugs?
also generate completely abstract illusions, which greatly enhance the peripheral motion content of the game room.
You know, people will still go on drugs and do this stuff, though.
Oh man, what are-
With the snow illusion, snowflakes can be affected by the speed of the race car, but they can also bounce off the real furniture or accumulate on the floor of the room. Motion effects can also be illustrated by bringing lighting from the game into the room. And finally, a game object could fall out of the screen and bounce on the real floor of the room, or roll onto the coffee table using the same as in the game.
Wow.
and is this Nintendo doing this?
Some illusions, like Focus plus Context Full, require direct access to the game's source code and its rendering. However, it is also possible.
Dude, that's awesome. It's
pretty cool.
But that stuff came from them letting people, their community, develop their tools. When Kinect first came out, that's what they were doing. People were reproducing their office room.
Yeah.
With the Kinect device.
Oh yeah, doing reverse engineering for head.
Exactly, dude. Or like, I saw a really cool one. This guy. Okay.
Go ahead.
This guy.
We'll keep the image up.
This guy is in a wheelchair, and he always has a tough time grocery shopping because he has to like push his wheelchair and then push the cart and push the wheelchair and push the cart. What he did was hook up a Kinect, Xbox Kinect, to the wheelchair, which could identify the surrounding areas and move with him, so he didn't ever have to touch the shopping cart.
Right.
So it was like, the things that people are creating with their devices. That's why Microsoft is going to take off more than Nintendo.
Yeah.
Except, dude, the Wii stuff. Have you seen Wii needs to take the stuff that I can't think of his name right now. Johnny Lee, I think.
Yeah, I remember you're talking about. Yeah, he did the reverse engineering of the original head tracking.
Yeah, dude, the head tracking stuff. That was amazing. Why didn't they go and run with that?
I have no idea because the community. Yeah, I don't know. Nintendo kind of lost sight of it. I mean, they just lost their vision, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's who's got the leadership now?
Yeah, they got stuck on kind of just trying to do like the little kind of gimmicky stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, so we have a couple of quick videos here.
So yeah, we were projecting. Was that your face, Phil? Yeah. So that's the face.
This is me on me.
Look at that, dude. Phil is on Phil.
I need to get it on my face though.
Stand up a little bit. You need exfoliate right now. So? I want to see you on me, though.
I want to see.
Hold on. You correct him, Jesse, and I'll record it.
Andrew Maratia, everybody. Andrew Maratia. This man is an attorney.
You need to be farther or closer? I can't. Yeah, oh, right there. Wait, just get the eyes a little. Oh, you need to know, like.
Oh my God.
This way a little bit. All right, now we're gonna go back down. Hey, just go with it. All right. Don't look at the camera. Don't look at the camera. You gotta remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Dude, that was perfect though.
I want to see you on me.
Yeah, yeah.
It sounded a little funny, but
That line doesn't work in bars.
it might. Dude, that's such a funny picture.
We gotta go down memory lane real quick. Hold on 1 second.
Oh my God, that's funny, dude.
Cool glasses, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, there's like Jesse in the corner.
I might be sleeping.
Yeah, bro. Oh, here you go. You remember this?
Oh yeah, dude.
Dude, yeah, remember painting that?
Yeah. We had a bunch of leftover paint, and so I think it was like a bunch of shadows we were painting.
Yeah, look. Well, here were the lights.
Yeah.
And then here was a silhouette. Here's another silhouette.
You've told me about that painting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool one. This
We
was
had
our photo. This was our photo shoot with Umminger.
That's funny.
That's classic.
Dude, it was a free-for-all place, dude. Speaking of the house, did you hear about the big fight that happened here in Tempe that was on national news?
No.
There was this, because, they tore down Greek Row.
Right.
And so all the fraternities moved out into, like, separate apartment complexes all over throughout Tempe. And there was a giant fight with, like, gunfire and bats, and, like, 5 people were arrested, and there was a fire. And it was on national news, and it was, like, the Tempe councilman talking about, like, ASU needs to do some fucking like, get these guys back on campus so they actually have some regulation. And I was talking with Eric. Like, when we were there, we all we regulated each other, and it was within that area. And, so there wasn't much mayhem that happened because we'd go out and, like, pretty much, like, the kings of the houses would meet in the middle of the street and, like, shake hands and, like, smooth everything over. But now it's just chaos.
Dude, it was, like, so Gangs of New York. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was very interesting. I mean, remember when, like, entire houses would clear? It was, like, Braveheart status sometimes.
Dude, but then at the very end, we'd, like, shake hands and everything would be cool.
Yeah, and we just do the beer bongs.
Dude, exactly. I just saw the title of that folder, and we called it Project Tempe.
Oh, yes. Project Tempe.
That was that the name of your room?
Yeah. Well, we had Project Tempe East and West.
Oh, yeah. And Project Tempe West was way better than Project Tempe East.
Yeah, no comment.
So I pulled up some of the Johnny Lee head tracking stuff. I'll play that real quick.
Hi, my name is Johnny Lee, and in this video I'm going to show you how to perform head tracking and create desktop virtual reality displays using the Nintendo Wii Remote. Now first, what do I mean by desktop VR display? Well, when you think about most computer screens, they're typically used to display a flat image, a little bit like this picture in this picture frame. Even if the picture is of something 3D, like a video game, the picture is still flat, so it doesn't change depending on what angle you view the screen at. A desktop VR display, however, is a little bit like taking the picture out of the picture frame and then just having the frame. Now the scene actually changes depending on what angle I view the screen at. So this essentially becomes a portal or a little window into another room. Now to do this,
or another world,
the location of the screen relative to the screen, and this is called head tracking. Now to perform head tracking, we're going to be using the Wii Remote and the sensor bar, but we're actually going to be using them backwards. We're going to put the Wii Remote next to the TV and actually move the sensor bar instead. The Wii Remote actually contains an infrared camera, and the sensor bar is simply two sources of infrared light. When the camera sees the two dots, it's going to give an approximate location of my head horizontally, vertically, and in distance from the screen. Okay, the tricky part is now we're going to have to find some way to mount the sensor bar onto our head. One common trick is to get a baseball cap. Behind me is a demo program of a 3D room with some targets floating in. Now, because the effect only works for the person wearing the sensor bar, I'm going to have to show you the effect through a moving camera. Now, to do this, I'm literally just going to hold the sensor bar at the base of the camera and move it around. Just a quick note, to power the sensor bar, I simply turn on my Wii after I've connected my Wii Remote to my PC. First, I'm going to show you what it looks like without head tracking, which is what displays normally look like. You can see that although it's a picture of a 3D room, the image looks very two-dimensional and bound to the surface of the TV.
This is amazing.
Now with head tracking turned on, the TV actually looks like the entrance to a real room. Just like in real life, by moving our head around, we can look behind objects. And if you look really closely, some targets actually appear to be floating out in front of the screen, reaching into the real world. If we get closer to the screen, we get closer to the objects, and we can even get behind the ones floating in front of the screen.
Now think if you combine this with the Kinect where it came out into the room.
Yeah.
As I pull the camera back, keep an eye on the frontmost target. Head tracking provides the illusion that the target is actually floating directly above the laptop screen, far in front of the TV. Now using this picture of a football stadium, if you move right, you can see more of the field. If you move left, you can see more of the stands. And if you get closer to the screen, you see more of everything, just like a real window.
This is so cool.
Yeah. If I use my IR glasses and keep the sensor I can use the second Wii Remote.
I love this intense face.
Game while also doing head tracking. So now ducking and shifting your body is actually meaningful to a game. You can also see now how the perspective is incorrect if you are not the one wearing glasses.
Dude, imagine time
head tracking for VR is only going to work for one person at a time. But for that one person, the 3D experience is going to be far more realistic and immersive than anything else we see in homes today.
What's that going to do for the porn industry?
Nintendo Wii game developer? I want to see some games. Anyway, as usual, you can visit my website to download this software and find out more information about my other Wiimote projects.
Dude, yeah.
Cool stuff. So, yeah, so, you know, I'm sure we'll Kinect 2.0. We'll probably...
Whoa.
I don't know if you, have you seen the Oculus Rift?
No.
Okay, check this out.
My name is Paul Merlucky, and I'm a virtual reality enthusiast and the designer of the Rift. Games are something I'm really passionate about, and even more than playing games, I'm passionate about bringing games to the next level. What we're doing at Oculus is trying to create the world's best virtual reality headset designed very specifically for gaming. Where this all started was in my parents' garage in Long Beach, California, and I was interested in stereoscopic displays, I was interested in head mounts, and the problem was there was nothing that gave me the experience that I wanted, the Matrix, where I could plug in and actually be in the game. And I was sure that somewhere out there was something that I could buy, and the reality is there's nothing. I set out to change that with the Oculus Rift. The magic that sets the Rift apart is immersive stereoscopic 3D rendering, a massive field of view, and ultra-low latency head tracking. To John Carmack is one of the best developers in the world. Doom, Quake, Commander Keen. Carmack saw some of my work. That's originally when he reached out to me.
For a certain segment of the population, the hacker-maker crowd, this is going to be awesomely cool to work on. What I've got now is, I honestly think the best VR demo probably the world's ever seen. We're certainly going to take this into our future projects.
We're getting involved in Oculus now because we see an incredible opportunity here for game developers to experience something new.
The Rift is taking years of virtual reality research and putting it into a package that everyone can use.
So I recently had a chance in person to check out the Oculus headset, and needless to say, I'm a believer. Even as a prototype, what I saw was extremely promising. We're extremely excited here at Epic Games to get the Unreal Engine integrated with the Oculus, and I think the possibilities for the games are extremely exciting, and I'm thrilled with the whole project.
Well, I gotta say, I just tried the Oculus prototype, and it was such an
Nice top collar.
that we pretty quickly, like within an hour, decided to get behind this project.
I got to meet. Say it was a very exciting moment. Could be the beginning of a whole new industry that leads every place. And I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to program with it and to see what we can do. It looks incredibly exciting. If anybody has problems, we think that Palmer's going to do it. So we'd strongly encourage you to support this Kickstarter. In the past, I've looked at these VR headsets and head-mounted displays, and this is the first one that I've seen that I was truly impressed with.
There's a lot of great head-mounted displays out there, but they're all really, really expensive, up to over $100,000. What the Rift does is it makes a high-end virtual reality experience available to the average gamer. So most consumer head-mounted displays have a diagonal field of view of about 30 or 40 degrees. You see a really small image way off in the distance, and it doesn't make you feel like you're there. With the Oculus Rift, you get a diagonal field of view of 110 degrees. That means you're not looking at a screen anymore. You actually feel like you're inside of the world.
You don't see the screen when you put it on your eyes, and that just changes the whole ballgame.
One of the biggest problems with virtual reality up to this point is latency. The benefit of the Rift is that it's designed to be really, really low latency. So rather than...
it's getting kind of redundant, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So basically that's what it is a display in one. I mean, so it's a little bit different iteration, but it's going to be really interesting to see what they do.
You should pull up the video of the guy trying it on.
Yeah.
So here's those 3D faces I was talking about, where they're projecting them onto like trees.
Oh, cool.
Here's another eminent front. Here's something else that's pretty cool. This is called PhotoSynth. I'll give it a little demonstration. It's called PhotoSynth, and you're able to zoom in with no like delays in resolution, and also they've been taking pictures from. Hold on a sec. I'll wait to hold this. They've been taking pictures of, like, they go onto PhotoBucket or like Twitter, or I don't know what the photo sharing site is called off the top of my head right now.
Imager.
But what is it?
Imager.
Yeah, like and they've been finding the links to like a certain geographical area, like Notre Dame Cathedral or something like that, and synthesizing everyone's pictures from that and creating a 3D rendering of that image, but using everyone else's pictures, dude. So yeah, here it goes.
The way maps work online. And we really are seeing this in very different terms from the kind of mapping and directions site that one is used to. So the first thing you might notice about the mapping site is just the fluidity of the zooming and the panning, which, if you're familiar at all with Sea Dragon, that's where it comes from. Mapping is, of course, not just about cartography, it's also about imagery. So as we zoom in beyond a certain level, this resolves into a kind of SimCity-like virtual view at 45 degrees. This can be viewed from any of the cardinal directions to show you the 3D structure of the city, all the facades. Now, we see this space, this three-dimensional environment, as being a canvas on which all sorts of applications can play out. And maps, directions are really just one of them. If you click on this, you'll see some of the ones that we've put out just in the past couple of months since we've launched. So, for example, a couple of days after the disaster in Haiti, we had an earthquake map that showed before and after pictures from the sky. This wonderful one, which I don't have time to show you, is taking hyperlocal blogs in real time and mapping those stories, those entries, to the places they're referred to on the blogs. It's wonderful. But I'm going to show you some more candy sort of stuff. So we see the imagery, of course, not stopping at the sky. These little green bubbles represent photosynths that users have made. I'm not going to dive into them either, but photosynths are integrated into the map. Everything that's cased in blue is an area where we've taken imagery on the ground as well. And so when you fly down from the, thank you. When you fly down to the ground and you see this, this kind of panoramic imagery, the first thing that you might notice is that it's not just a picture. There's just as much three-dimensional understanding of this environment as there is of the three-dimensional city from above. So, you know, if I click on something to get a closer view of it, then the fact that that transition looks as it does is a function of all of that geometry, all of that 3D understanding behind this model. Now, I'll show you a fun app that we've been working on in collaboration with our friends at Flickr. This takes Flickr georegistered imagery and uses photosynth-like processes to connect that imagery to our imagery. So I'm not sure if that's the one I actually meant to. But notice, this is of course a popular tourist site. There are lots of photos around here. And these photos are all taken at different times, so around 5. So that's the Flickr photo. That's our imagery. So you really see how this kind of crowdsourced imagery is integrating in a very deep way into the map itself. Now, the reason this is interesting, thank you. There are several reasons why this is interesting, and one of them, of course, is time travel. I'm not going to show you some of the wonderful historic imagery here. There's some with horses and carriages and so on as well. But what's cool about this is that not only is it augmenting this visual representation of the world with things that are coming in from users, but it also is the foundation for augmented reality. And that's something that I'll be showing you more of in just a moment. Now, I just made a transition indoors. That's also interesting. Okay, notice there's now a roof above us. We're inside the Pike Place Market. And this is something that we're able to do with the backpack camera. So we're now not only imaging in the street with this camera on tops of cars, but we're also imaging inside. And from here, we're able to do the same sorts of registration, not only of still images, but also of video. So this is something that we're now going to try for the first time live, and this is really, truly very frightening. Okay. All right, guys, are you there? All right, I'm hitting it. I'm punching play. I'm live. All right, there we go. So these are our friends in Pike Place Market, the lab. Thank you.
No way.
And they're broadcasting this live. Okay, George, can you pan back over to the corner market? Because I want to show points of interest. Hey, yo, no, the other way. yeah, back to the corner. I don't want to see you guys yet. Okay. Back to the corner. Okay, never mind. What I wanted to show you is these points of interest over here on top of the image, because what that gives you a sense of is the way, if you're actually on the spot, you can think about this. This is taking a step in addition to augmented reality. What the hell are you guys doing? We're doing two different things. Okay, I'm hanging up now. We're doing two different things here. One of them is to take that real. All All right, let me just take a moment and thank the team. They've done a fantastic job of putting this together. All right, I'm going to abandon them now and walk back outside. And while I walk outside, I'll just mention that here we're using this for telepresence, but you can equally well use this on the spot for augmented reality. When you use it on the spot, it means that you're able to bring all of that metadata and information about the world to you. So here we're taking the extra step of also broadcasting it. That was being broadcast, by the way, on a 4G network from the market. All right, and now there's one last TED Talk that Microsoft has given in the past several years, and that's Curtis Wong at Worldwide Telescope. So we're going to head over to the dumpsters, where it's traditional after a long day at the market. So go out for a break and also stare up at the sky. This is the integration of Worldwide Telescope into our maps. This is the current, thank you. This is the current time. If we scrub the time, then we can see how the sky will look at different times, and we can get all this very detailed information about different times, different days.
Uranus.
Let's move higher the sky, maybe change the date. I would like to kind of zoom in on the moon. So this is astronomically complete representation of the.
No way.
Right into the Earth. All right, now I've overrun my time, so I've got to stop. Thank you all very much.
Cool.
Wow.
Cool stuff, man. Cool stuff.
This is not.
Mind blown?
Mind blown. Wow. So now, imagine that technology with Google Glass.
Exactly, dude.
It's going to be just, in your contact lens, you're going to be able to look all around you, look up at the sky, and, like, turn on constellations. Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, it's going to enhance learning. It's going, you're going to be able to, like, oh, that place has 5-star reviews. Like, let's go in there. You know, let's, like.
Imagine being a teacher and having an equation on the board and being able to, like, if you can't solve it, like, it'll start to, like, give you hints.
Solve it for you, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, start to just project it, like, augmented.
Or, like he was talking about, they could actually go back in time. They have pictures of buggies and carriages from, like, think about integrating all the pictures from that time, and you create a time, and space in that area. So they're recreating reality, dude. So it leads you back into the, you know, this is our philosophical time on the Phil and Jesse show. What is going to happen? Are we going to create this computer simulation of everything that's ever happened ever in the entire reality? And it leads then into, are we living that right now? Are we living that from a previous time, like a previous civilization that created a reality, an augmented reality of everything that had ever happened in space and time before, and now we're just replaying that?
Yeah, that's again, I could go back to the mind blown gif. Yeah, I mean, that's getting into like some little BioShock Infinite stuff. I know you haven't played it, but
I've watched Eric play it.
Kind of these tears in reality to be able to see different times, different places, and we're gonna have it's just being able to. It's so cool what we're able to do, and how we're able to take all of this collective information. But what's more important, is not just having it, but integrating it and actually, executing how we use that information.
Dude,
so like just being able to compile that all into one,
it's hive mind. It's
navigatable reality is insane.
What we're seeing is, this is just my perspective of the pictures that I've taken in these places. We're integrating that with everyone else that has been there ever, and then being able to combine it all in a time, on a timeline, and it's crazy. It's becoming hive mind. It's everybody's experience being collected and integrated together.
And imagine if they could take that entire piece of information. So let's say if they can just let's just put it in layman's terms, export that entire that collective, and be able to just like store it on a medium. Imagine like if a future society, like after say we went through a crazy shift in our society now, where the population became small. Let's say a post-apocalyptic, for instance. Imagine being able to hand them a disk and be like, here, you can browse, you can like look through virtually everything, like it's just being able to keep that record.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is insane. And being able to show it future generations. Here you go, like navigate the entire world.
So get ready, bring that GIF up again because you're about to be mind blown.
All right.
So think about like we're at this stage of advancing in civilization, but and this is all in the idea of the universe. The Big Bang started at like this point that contained everything, and then it's expanding, and at one point it's going to start contracting again, and then reach back into that singularity of one point that contains everything.
Right.
And so the idea, this is from Dr. David Eagleman, who is a neuroscientist and also a great author. But he's saying that maybe this advanced civilization was able to take all of that data that they've collected over the entire span of the universe. And what happens when it's starting to collect, they're like, well, we need to save all this information. And they create some method to streamline that and think about like running a thread that has all of that stored information that condenses down to that single point, and then they're able to push all that information back through the singularity of the collapse of the universe into that single point that contains everything, and then all that information is still stored there when it expands again, and it just repeats that cycle over and over again. And it's because it really is it's the stored information and the collective consciousness of the entire universe that begins containing everything and storing it. Like energy is neither created nor destroyed. So it falls in the laws of physics that you're able to take all the information and condense it down to a single point of the entire universe, and then pop it out on the other side, and it just starts expanding again.
That's crazy. And you know what? Guess where the best place to hide it would be? Hide information from past, let's say civilizations or instances of our universe would just be within our DNA.
Where's that?
In our DNA.
Oh, dude. And I've been thinking about that. Like, think about family. Well, in my case, I'm studying disease. Like, think about diseases and behavior patterns that we're just a code. Like, we have a code that's operating and making us, and that said this cell go to this place and this cell go to this place, and now I have this hand that moves like this.
Right.
But like, think about diseases being passed down from generation to generation, and this code. And people are, we think in just the individuality, but if people are always talking about evolution, that happens on population scales, and even greater than that, it happens on the universal scale about this evolution. And the evolution is like the evolving of the consciousness that is combating this disorder of entropy, and it's this balance between the two that is happening. And dude, the DNA, it's code. It's this genetic code that's taking place.
Yeah, absolutely. To be a little bit political here, I'm gonna pivot.
Nice pivot.
I'm going to play this for you. Okay, so let me know if you can hear it. Be louder. It's pretty cool music, like sounds like some Sigur Rós, right?
Yeah.
So hold on, I'm going to keep playing it, but so yeah, this is pretty cool music. It's cool ambient music. I'm going to keep playing it. But yeah, it's just, I'm digging it, and it gets a little more interesting. You'll hear. Pretty cool stuff, right?
Dude, we were actually talking about this earlier. Like, we're really like we think in this electronic method where everything is just like these pulses of you know, digital bits of information. But what we're really receiving is frequency. We're receiving waves, and our interpretation of that becomes electronic. Like, we're receiving electromagnetic frequency that are hitting our rods and cones in our eye that is then transferred into electrical impulses that go into this brain that's encased in this dark space. Processor, exactly. And we interpret the frequencies and electromagnetic waves as matter and individual parts and these, you know, digital signals. But dude, the world is a symphony that is playing, and dude, it's amazing to have a musical background and understanding, because that's truly what's happening, dude. It's a symphony of dissonance and consonant and, you know, all of these harmonies of life. And you need to, you know, the people that are doing well and not suffering as much, it's where they've developed harmony in their life, in, you know, everything that they're doing, in their behavior patterns, and everything we do is this cyclical relationship. Our behavior is a repeated pattern that we do.
Yep. So get ready to bust out the mind-blown gift for yourself.
All right.
Do you know who that was?
Who?
That artist was Justin Bieber, slowed down 800%.
What? Dude, that's funny, dude.
Is that crazy?
That is crazy. Like,
and it was like, and there's they took one of his songs and obviously it slowed down 800%, so it's 30 minutes long, and it all sounds like that. It's like the coolest. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's the first time.
So yeah, that just goes to show you, right? Isn't that crazy? Like, I was like digging it. I was like, oh my god, this is. I never thought I'd be like, hey man, you got to hear this Justin Bieber song.
Dude, say that again.
I think that's the first time Justin Bieber's ever blown anybody's mind.
Yeah, I know, and the first and last, I guess.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so I was like blown away by it. It's pretty cool. Let's see, you were talking about you started talking about you know, particles, and that kind of reminded me. Do you remember? This is like maybe a decade ago when there was a group of kids that, like, you know, in their garage, a Google type situation, let's say, and they actually figured out a way to like digitize smell and, you know, like pass information and then be able to kind of like simulate the senses with a device. Anyways, so this 1 second. So that's kind of integrating this. So Iron Man 3 is being played in a new format called 4DX. So basically, you know, they use strobe lights, the chairs, you know, move, and there's like smells. Like, you'll be able to, you know, smell different things in the theater.
Like if Iron Man farted, you'd be able to smell it.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Is that, you know, you could go down some bad roads with that integration, you know. But that's what I was thinking about. In Iron Man, like, what are you just gonna be smelling, like metal? Are you just gonna like smell a lot of metal and like explosions?
I wonder what you'd be smelling at like the porn theaters.
Oh God.
Let's not go there.
Well, you know, it can either be good or bad. You know?
Wow, dude.
I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah. So, what did you have going on this week?
We were talking about internet and, you know, how Netflix uses 30% of the bandwidth from, what was it, 8 p.m. to midnight?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what do you think of Google Fiber?
It's incredible. like all the service providers are freaking out because they just know it's kind of like the inevitable, take. I mean, Time Warner is horrible, by the way. Like,
oh yeah, you should give everyone a background on what Google Fiber is, real quick.
Yeah, it's basically just high-speed internet. I believe it's a gig per second internet, and it's just it's feasible, everywhere, and basically all of the service providers are getting scared because it's so easily, it's easily implemented and it's extremely high speed. I mean, a gigabyte per second is insanity. So all the
charge an arm and a leg for it either.
What's that?
And they don't charge an arm and a leg for it either.
No, because it's Google. They don't, of course they don't have to. So it's scaring everybody, and it's going to put a lot of these giant companies in a bad place. I mean, who's gonna want to go with Time Warner when you can go with Google, like somebody that you trust, that has good customer service and is like only doing it for I always look at them. They always try to do things for the betterment of this age of information or for our society. I was just kind of there you go. But yeah, I was talking about kind of how it's cool how Google has always been kind of like the white knight for the internet.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, they've always definitely looked out for the best interest of being open source and providing making sure they have so much power, and to quote the great really Stan Lee, but we'll say Stan Lee instead of Uncle what is it, Spider-Man's uncle. God, I can't remember his name. Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben. With great power comes great responsibility, right? So Google is like the best example of that. They don't. I mean, if I'm sure people could argue that they sell your information, but I don't think so. I mean, they make enough profit off of advertising. I mean, I think they just use their information internally to be able to keep that cog moving. Keep
the user experience better.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll make it again going back to kind of a theme that we've seen kind of throughout our whole shows is customizability or
personalization
specific to everybody. I mean, everyone's just wanted that, and now everything. And it's funny because now everyone's getting scared that it's happening.
Yeah.
It's like they wanted it, and now it's like, well, no, everybody has a custom. Like when I go on Facebook, it's different from what you see. And same with Reddit or just lots of different sites. The way you
I think what's happening right now is in the pickup world is called last minute resistance. It's everyone. It's like when you take a girl home and you're about to have sex with her and she's like, well, I'm not a slut, and she, it's like that last minute resistance. You just got to make them feel comfortable. And that's exactly what's happening is everyone's having this last-minute resistance to this huge change that's about to occur. And they're like, I don't know if I want to go there, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Right. And I don't know if you mentioned this, but the coolest thing about the Google Fiber is they're offering their service. Like, you pay an upfront fee,
right?
A one-time fee, and you have
$300. I mean.
Yeah, $300, and then you have free internet for life.
Wow.
At the speeds that it is right now with all the other service providers.
That's
and
crazy.
You can also purchase their higher, I think, gigabyte per second or something like that. And you're paying a monthly fee to them. But for people that need, just regular internet service, you can just pay that upfront fee and then have free internet for life, dude. It's going to be...
That's awesome. Even the upgrade is only like $60 a month or something, $69 or...
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so that's why all these companies are like, oh, no.
Now, with that much bandwidth happening and that much availability, what's that going to do to all the people with servers? Aren't they going to have to really up their game?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, because if you think about it, when they build these standard server rooms and whatnot now, they're using, I shouldn't say, most modern ones use fiber, so it can handle the bandwidth, but there are a lot of old servers that still use traditional network cables, and they can only handle a certain amount of bandwidth, a certain amount of information. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of servers that are going to have to spend a lot of money to transition over to fiber.
Well, they're going to have
that's all new servers. That's servers that can use fiber and receive that much information. So, it's just going to cause it's going to put to be brutally honest, fire under the ass of a lot of people that have been behind the curve.
And it's going to get to a place where it's each location that has internet is going to have to, almost like a power plant, they're going to have a server plant or a farm for their, server information. Like each city is going to have a server information for that. And it's going to have to enter, instead of the central model, it's going to be a distributed model where all of these are working in concert. It's going to be the internet, but just server farms that distribute then the information to like the network down below them. It's crazy what's happening. Like we can't really see it, and like all of these things that we've been showing, it's amazing, but it's happening so fast that all of these new advancements, people don't understand them, don't know how to use them. They're going to integrate themselves pretty much, and we're going to be living in this world that are like, we're just going to be fucking mind blown the whole time, dude.
I know.
A normal state of being is having your mind blown.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Oh, also, I wanted to comment. I love Vern's shirt.
Dude, #1 party school. I don't remember where I got that, but I think at some party they had a bunch of Playboy playmates there, and I actually got it signed. And she couldn't understand me. I kept saying like, make it out to Vern, and I was like, make it Vern, and she put Burn, like B-E-R-N instead of Burn.
That's funny.
Two Burn, whatever.
I used to work with a guy by the name of Burn too. Burn and Burn show. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's funny.
That's all. So did you see the article, by the way? It was the top 10 sororities in the country, and #1 was ASU Alpha Phi.
Yeah, I would, I agree with that, definitely.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, dude. Well,
that was every sorority in the country. So like, glad to hear ASU still holding it down.
Hotness. Well, and actually, Theta was on there too for being the smartest sorority in.
Yeah, but it was a different Theta chapter. But I'm saying that's crazy that it was ASU Alpha Phi. I mean, I thought when I looked at the article it was just going to be like sororities in general, but that's pretty crazy.
Chris Crisco posted a funny post. His cousin and sister are graduating. They probably actually just graduated, but he's like, contrary to popular belief, ASU is actually the hardest school to graduate from, not the easiest. It's like,
yeah.
And how hard it is to leave the place at the end.
God.
It is funny.
That's so true. It's so true.
So from our last video, I was trying to find this guy's speech on the Age of Abundance, and we jumped around the video 5 or 6 times trying to find it, but this time I thought ahead and queued it up, so I'm gonna play that real quick.
Sounds good.
Before, has power been in the hands of single individuals and small groups like we have it today? It's only going to become more and more empowered, literally where small groups can do what only governments or large corporations could do in the past. We're going to start to see what I call an age of abundance coming online, where we spoke about the king of any nation having nowhere near the kind of capability we have today. So if you think about the underpinnings of Moore's law, giving us ultimately distributed health, education. I think if you think about energy production, you can look at what's going on, pick up on that. We're living at a time where the cost of solar energy is dropping at 30% per year.
The cost of solar is dropping 30%. Still higher than
we're still not at a point of grid parity, but you've got a reduction of solar, you've got an exponential increase in solar production. If you stop and you realize that the Earth, in 1 hour, more energy hits the Earth than we consume as a species during the entire year. 6,000 times more energy flux hits the Earth's surface. If we start to convert that, what's interesting is that the doubling time of solar, at some point 20 years out, even though people don't believe it, we don't think exponentially, we think linearly, we're going to reach a point where the cost of solar is far less than the grid parity of coal. And then a couple of years later, all of a sudden, we end up with twice as much energy that we use on Earth, and then 4 times and 8 times. So what does the world look like when we have abundant energy? We talk about water wars. Well, the fact of the matter is we have plenty of water on this planet. It just happens to be 97.3% salt water. If we can convert that to fresh water, we'll start all to have around this planet. That starts hitting health, and all of a sudden we are starting to live into an age of abundance where we've got all of us on this planet: energy, water, food, health, education. And that really begins to change the world. What happens when 1 billion new minds come online? What do they want? What are they going to produce? What are they going to consume? We're living at a point of rapid change in which billion-dollar companies are going to fold overnight and billion-dollar companies are going to come out of nothing. It's dramatic.
So
that's the second time I've heard Moore's Law today. Let's define that. I'm lost on that one.
Okay, so Moore's Law is that the computing power doubles every eight months.
Okay.
Every 6 months.
Oh, I just heard 8, but okay.
Well, it's actually we're starting to hit a streak where we're breaking Moore's Law, which is, and it's not that it's everyone thought Moore's Law was going to break by going down, by not hitting that doubling every 8 months. It's starting to go up where we're doubling quicker than it has, and so it's like the computing power, and it goes beyond just doubling.
Yeah.
The power is doubling, and the size is halving. The size it takes to produce that information is decreasing by half, and the amount of power that we're able to process is doubling every 8 months. And
well, and like you said, everything is getting smaller. It's insane to think about the size of the chips nowadays when they're measuring them in like 24 nanometers.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's how small their things are getting. And then also, Vern, just to kind of elaborate on Moore's Law too. What's crazy, you know, to go along with that is the singularity event that Jesse was talking about. So, you know, and I think we talked about this a little bit last week, Jesse. Is, you know, we've made more technological advances from 2000 to 2010. We made more technological advances than the human race did from 0 to 2000. And in the last year, we made more technological advances than we did from 2000 to 2010. So it's going to get to the point to where we're going to make more advances than we have in the last, 2,000 odd years in a day. And it'll keep going down to days, to minutes, to seconds. And the singularity event is when it just becomes such a minute amount of time that technology is advancing that we don't know exactly what's going to happen. It's the singularity event. It's this kind of theoretical event. And again, Jesse, you know, you probably have something to add to that, but
yeah. So actually, I just looked up Moore's Law. It's every 18 months that it doubles, and but they also talk about it being a self-fulfilling prophecy because the transistor and processing companies use that as a guideline to follow along. But the singularity is talking about where it's a lot of people talk about as technology. We're going to build it to a place where it becomes conscious, and where we create a conscious. We develop a conscious being, like us as humans develop something that then could almost outpace the development of humans, and where that's going to take us.
And that's kind of what I just had a thought about. You know, if the technology keeps expanding and going faster and faster, how do you keep up with production? You know, if by the time you've produced something, gotten it, designed and manufacturing and all that, and got it out and marketed it, the technology is so out of date that nobody wants it.
Yeah, then you just have kind of this abundance of information without being able to actually produce the product of that information.
Well, and the curve to that, what's going to offset, that idea is we're going to create technology that creates itself, and that's
exactly that's true.
That's part of the singularity too, is that we're not going to be able to keep up with it, so we're going to create something. It's almost like it's
like going to be Matrix or Terminator,
or even Hitchhiker's Galaxy to the World, like.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to figure out the problems of life, so we'll create a computer that answers, the question of life, and then, they come back, oh, great one, what is the answer to the question we all want to know? And it's like, 42.
That's a great one.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Right? Like, there's actually, in that Dr. David Eagleman, the neuroscientist, he wrote a book called Some, it's called Some, 40 Tales of the Afterlife, and it's all of these you know, pretty much like thought experiments of what is in the afterlife. And one of them is when you die, there's all of these beings that come around, and they're all these like little tiny green men, and they're all asking you, what's the answer? What's the answer? What's the answer? And you can't understand them, and you're like, what are they talking about? And what the end of the story comes to is that these little green men created a being to answer the question of life, but they created something that was more advanced than they were, so they couldn't, when they finally brought their creation back, neither of them could communicate because the creation they created was more advanced than what they could understand.
Wow, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if we just die one day and God really is like some old white guy with a beard. Like they were right all along, and he's like, yeah, I really don't know how I made you guys. I was like really stoned one night and started throwing this like stuff called DNA together, like, you know, and then, yeah, poof.
We got really stoned and started throwing asteroids at each other, and
I didn't really put much thought into it. I just kind of threw everything in the pot and, like, you know, slow cooked it.
Let's see what happens.
I've been trying to recreate it ever since.
Yeah. Check this out, just to get on a cool little topic here. Have you seen this?
One-way trip to Mars?
Yeah. So there's actually people now posting all these YouTube videos about why they're eligible to be to go to Mars, and so it's pretty cool. So you can go and watch videos on YouTube of these people talking about, you know, why they'd be an asset, and they want to just send people out there. You know, this is me kind of you know, insinuating what they're going to be doing. But I mean, imagine people going out there. You could basically have a tent that could be self-sufficient with. I mean, you know, if they use tinfoil on well, I guess the moon is less gravity, but you know, make a structure that's just an inflatable structure of some sorts. And I mean, imagine to start to like slowly terraform Mars. I mean, it's crazy that like something like terraforming is not like a crazy idea. It's not. Dude. You know, you wouldn't be looked at as insane for saying like, yeah, like we want to terraform Mars. We want to like start changing the atmosphere. I mean, we found water there, so we know that at some time oxygen had to exist there, right? I mean, how could it not? That's the reason we always look for water. I mean,
and it's crazy that we probably could create it. We probably could send something there that starts producing a gas that is heavy enough to stay close to the atmosphere, that won't get blown away, and creates an atmosphere in the environment, dude. It's like, you know, we're going to go and create a shield for us to live on Mars.
Exactly. Yeah, so if you want to full screen, this is interesting too, because I was thinking about, so this is the trip. I mean, 39 days. 39 days with this all, you know, it's an interesting read, Jesse, and they have a video below.
I think my dad had something to say real quick.
I can think of a few people I'd like to send to Mars.
Just convince him, like, hey, we got a good trip for you. You think this would be fun?
Yeah. Just here. It's just one-way ticket. Just go. You know, you like adventure?
I want to send this person to Mars. I have to go on Kickstarter to finance it.
Right.
Crowdfunding to send him like, hey, George W., you want to go to Mars?
So it's really funny. We started talking about it at work the other day because we were watching a lot of the videos, and it's like most of the people that want to go are all males, and so like, you know, it's really funny because like imagine like, you know, like one or two girls is like on the ship traveling to Mars going, oh shit. Like, oh god. I know, I can see where this might go. This could get really ugly.
Yeah.
Oh, they forgot the lubrication.
Yeah, oh god. It's just gonna be a mess down there.
I hope someone brought lube.
Alright. I have a couple little funny pictures to share.
The burning bush, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then so this is pretty funny. Have you heard about this guy that has a Facebook profile called God on Facebook?
No.
Okay, he totally trolls people, and this just goes to show you intelligence levels. So There you go. If you can see it, I'll just kind of read it. So, so first of all, this guy Zach messages him and says, why do you take this seriously? You're just blaspheming and being insulting to the body. You are not God. This guy plays the character God. That's funny. He plays it perfectly. He's like, foolish mortal, how dare you speak such blasphemy, Zach? What are you talking about, blasphemy? God will not be mocked. I am living at such stupidity. That's ironic. What in the world are you atheists thinking? Your life is so short, but eternity is forever. That's redundant and funny. Why would you provoke the Father like this? I am the Father. You clearly are an atheist. Zach, what is this, Mari? You were not there when the heavens and the earth created. God. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Zach, no, you were not God, who was not whoever this is. Think about that sentence. No, you were not. God, who was not whoever this is.
Dude, that's like a double negative, so he just confirmed it.
And God goes, how do you know? Why was it okay for me to talk through a burning bush, but I can't talk to you on Facebook? Facebook never was around during the Bible. Aren't you God? You should know that, but you didn't because you aren't God. And God goes, don't dodge the question, mortal. How is this any less believable than the burning bush? And Zach says, I guess it's not so true. Maybe you be the real God. I'm sorry, God. Please forgive me. I don't want to go to hell, sad face.
That's awesome, dude. Sometimes, dude, they come up with some good stuff. There's another Facebook account that I thought was pretty funny I wanted to bring up real quick. Tony Clifton. Oh, I think we actually lost Phil.
Oh.
Phil? There we go.
Oh, sorry, we had some, that was strange. Hey, there's a good, you were looking at my Tony Clifton profile.
Look at, I found this guy on Facebook, dude. Isn't it like, who the hell is this guy? He's running around trying to be Tony Clifton? Like,
what I recognize some of the people with him.
Dude. He needs this party like he needs a shotgun blast to the face.
What's this guy walking around, huh? Doing what?
Oh, I think I've met this guy.
Oh, ring-a-ling-ling-long. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Hello. It's like a dog. Hello. It's giving me wing. Wing.
Dude, we need to go out like that. One night,
I
dude.
have Tony Clifton in a box still.
You do?
Yes, I do. He stays in the box. Tony Clifton and Bernie stay in the box.
Maybe I need to come out to LA and, dude, we need to put on just go out like that one night.
Totally, dude. We should do that on October 31st.
Oh, yeah, dude. What day is that? I forgot it. It's like some special day, right?
It's just a day. It'd probably be a little bit more acceptable to do that.
Yeah, exactly. But it'd be even more acceptable to do it on a day, or be funnier to do it on a day that's not Halloween.
Yeah. All right. So good to get into let's get into a little experimental discussion, if you will. So, would you go to Mars?
Not yet.
Not if there are only 2 women on the trip.
Touche. Okay.
I just, right now it's too experimental, dude. Like, the tipping point hasn't happened where it's feasible yet. And, dude, I kind of like Earth. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff here.
Yeah.
There's not really much to see on Mars.
Yeah, it looks a little desolate.
How do you know? You haven't been there.
True. Don't knock it till you try it. But what I thought was interesting is, and I was talking to somebody at work about this the other day, is it's the same concept as the first people that went and started. I'm sorry, it's on the tip of my tongue. The first colony that.
Jamestown.
Yeah, Jamestown. Thank you. It was it's the same concept as the people that went and started Jamestown. It's like. That's just it's amazing, just the human, the capacity to explore. And just some people, it takes a small group of people to make our whole society jump. It's going to take a small, brave group of people.
Well, and now I think we know not to poop in the water that we're drinking.
Yeah, exactly. We've had enough experience that we kind of can prepare for some stuff, but.
So speaking of Jamestown, this is an article that was just published. They in the USA Today, they found some remains of people from Jamestown. So survival cannibalism practiced in Jamestown settlers. They found this 14-year-old girl's skull that was cannibalized.
Wow.
So that shows you. That shows you if Mars is going to be like Jamestown, I don't think I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But eventually that's going to happen. Like unless we, the Earth really does have a limited lifetime because the sun has a limited lifetime. So eventually something is going to happen in order for, they talk about the human race, but it's more of just like intelligence maintaining or moving out and spreading beyond just the finite scope of what of what's contained in Earth.
Yeah. The other day, Stephen Hawking says that he thinks we only have another 1,000 years on this planet.
Really?
Yeah. Here's the. Yeah. So.
What a funny picture.
Huh? I know.
Wow.
So yeah, that's kind of he knows. I think he kind of knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, dude. Well, think if you were in his position, dude, and all you had to
you
were locked in your body, but your brain was still operating. You could just think all day long. That's all you would do.
Excuse me. It's crazy just to think that he's literally just kind of a human computer just figuring out shit for us.
Dude, he really is.
A very crude way.
Yeah. The funniest thing is,
I just thought about this. Here you go. You know what I mean?
Dude, you would think that the smartest man on Earth would have a better way of communicating with us.
Well, dude, he's been pretty. I gotta say, man, he's gotten thrown some curveballs and hit him out of the park and been able to still talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now he literally just doesn't even move, and it's just his chair talks for him. So you gotta give the guy a little bit of credit. He's definitely been able to to figure out a way to still communicate.
Maybe he's just a face, and it's actually a computer talking to us. It's
he's just been a robot all along, and we just didn't have the technology to keep the body alive.
Yeah, just because we think it would be just very strange if this computer was smarter than all of us, so we had to place this this person in this chair that made it seem like he was the one doing it. So it's like Hal, dude. Maybe he's Hal.
Maybe, yeah. But they were just kind of well, I know he doesn't look perfect, but at least he's human.
Yeah, or Watson, dude. Have you heard much about Watson lately?
No.
So Jack Jang is a friend of ours who graduated from the Mayo Clinic Medical School and actually came back down here to ASU to do his MBA. Smart man, but he said he's starting to work with Hal. Oh, right here. Let me see if I can bring this up. So companies are starting to use HAL, especially medical companies, to make diagnoses.
Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center and IBM are at the forefront in building new technology that will use IBM Watson and complex analytics to better treat cancer patients. With medical information doubling every 5 years, finding new ways to make evidence-based decisions has never been more critical.
When I started doing cancer medicine, it was all about doctors' opinions. It was opinion-based medicine. And I was able to see a revolution in medicine based on evidence. In other words, doing clinical trials, gathering scientific information, and using evidence-based medicine for making decisions. So we have the opportunity now of going past intelligence into what I would call wisdom. And that wisdom is really in our medical records. That wisdom is really in the way really experienced doctors who specialize in diseases make decisions based on guidelines, based on evidence. So what Watson's going to enable us to do is take that wisdom and put it in a way that people who don't have that much experience in any individual disease can have a wise counselor at their side at all times and use the most experienced people, the intelligence and wisdom of the most experienced people to help guide decisions. I think this is beyond an evolutionary step. I think this is a revolutionary step. I think that if properly applied, this has the potential of totally changing the way we conduct medicine.
Watson is a tool that processes information, fills in the gaps of human thought, doesn't make the decision for you. That's the realm of the clinician, or the clinician in combination with the patient. But bringing you the information that you would want to have anyway to make that better decision is what Watson will do for you. Now we're in a situation where the providers will benefit, the patients will benefit, and our technology is going to support them.
Watson's capability to analyze huge volumes of data and reduce it down to critical decision points is absolutely essential for our ability to improve on our ability to deliver effective therapies and to actually disseminate that information to the world.
Dude, it's amazing that, so we were talking about this collection of information that we're starting to develop, and, you know, like the augmented reality that we showed earlier, that now not only are we able to capture all that information, but we're creating computers to go out there and reach into it for specific things that we're looking for. Like, it's almost a search engine for information that we need to make the decisions in real time at the moment, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, totally. That's some real, and that's really cool. We have somebody that's like working.
Yeah, dude, we have a connection to that, and you know, it was amazing when I saw Watson destroy the Jeopardy leaders. You know, he destroyed them on Jeopardy, and it was like, this is the revolution of information finding, and it's like, you know, he's just he's pattern matching pretty much, but everyone's like, you know, in school they're like, we don't want you to pattern match, and I'm like, that's what fucking life is. All we're doing is pattern matching. We're like, I've seen that face before. Like, I haven't seen that face before. Is it gonna, you know, kill me? Am I gonna kill it? Is it gonna fuck me? Am I gonna fuck it? Like, or can, you know, can I reproduce with it? You know, all of those things. That's pattern matching. Whoa.
Yeah. Totally. That's some cool stuff. Hold on, I'm just bringing this up. So, well, that's like a crazy loop. Just to kind of get a little comedy in here. This is the collection of best YouTube comments. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna read them. So, the YouTube is Usher, there goes my baby. The comment is, imagine playing this at an abortion clinic. I guess I can't full screen. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, is this the real Hitler or is it an actor?
That's awesome.
Bath romance. The comment is, what if my opponent has arms? What do I do then? This one's pretty good. All right, so somebody has, it isn't that the dolphins are blowing bubbles that impresses me. It's the fact that they can create a vortex suspending an air bubble and manipulating it to any shape desired and setting it into motion. These creatures make college-level fluid dynamics seem like child's play. We know they are intelligent, but I believe their intelligence transcends our understanding. This is truly a beautiful and majestic species. We have much to learn from these noble beings. Next comment. Give that dolphin some weed.
And see what kind of circles he can blow.
Dude, so on that same note real quick, the guy, you know, I told you last week that I've been doing the isolation tanks. Well,
yeah.
The guy who created isolation tanks was named John C. Lilly, and he used to go into these things for like 8 hours and take massive amounts of LSD and like explore the deepest realms of consciousness and all the meta programs that have been operating and how we operate. But beyond that, beyond the research of the isolation tank, he used to take LSD with dolphins and try and create some type of interspecies communication between them, which is you know, mind-blowing in itself. So on that same topic of the dolphins, I thought I'd bring that up.
That's crazy, dude. Wow. And what were the results?
I haven't actually read much of the research yet, but he says that he was able to find some connection. But you know, this is also a guy. You know, like, who's gonna believe the research from this guy? You know, after, you know, those mental states are not accepted very much in the realm of regular medicine, even though like computers were created that way of exploring the mind.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of advanced, like DNA. That's how the double helix structure of DNA was created. Or not created yet, discovered, was you know, the people that did it. They won the Nobel Prize. They discovered it while they were tripping on acid, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, man. Just goes to show you.
So back to comedy.
Just a few more of these. Don't mean to, you know, pivot so much, but this one's pretty good. The comment is, I'm an actual real house cat. After I take a bong hit, I swear I can type in English for about sicky sex, meow, 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 meow. Oh, this one's good. It's a cracker. 4,000 children die every day because it says on a cracker. And somebody commented, 4,000 children die every day because you keep writing on their fucking food.
That's funny.
True Captain America would weigh 300 pounds, have a burger instead of a shield, be racist towards blacks, and have poor concepts of geography.
Dude, that reminds me of the Captain America comment. We were, I think we talked about this before, but we were having a discussion if Wolverine could get drunk or not. And, you know, Phil asked me to come on and add some medical advice to it. And I gave some pretty good advice that was actually confirmed by the comic. But then the guy who he was having this discussion with was came up and mentioned, like, well, how can you explain that Captain America can't get drunk? And it was like, anybody named Captain America shouldn't be able to get drunk or should not be able to get drunk.
Yeah, that was a great one. I just got a couple more of these. This one's pretty good. Jesse, perhaps you can cue this video up. You've seen this guy, this guitarist, right?
Yeah. What's his name again?
I can't remember. Let's see. It says CD Art.
Andy McKee.
The first name is Andy.
Yeah, Andy McKee.
Yeah, but yeah. So the comment is his hair moved to his chin to hear the music better. And Vern, you'll see why.
Oh, I've seen it too.
This one's. Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. This one's great. This isn't real. The sheep just has a mask on. Like. Well, yeah.
That's funny.
Just let's see. Let's see. There's a.
Here, real quick. Here's the Andy McKee video. As you can see, awesome.
Yeah, I taught him everything he knows.
So awesome. Makes me feel like shit for not being able to play that game.
Yeah, talk about a guy being able to like play an instrument inside the box.
Yeah, I got my last one real quick. This one's great. So yeah, this is, you know, the description is such a beautiful girl is playing drums for the first time. I see this beautiful. The top comment is, what kind of kitchen is that?
That's a good one.
That's a rockin' kitchen.
I've never seen a kitchen like that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, Phil, I think it's another good episode. We did some good things. And yeah, dude, that's probably the conclusion of the Phil and Jesse show, episode 4.
We had my brother watching, by the way.
Oh, Shannon's
watching, so give him a little what's up.
Hey, I'm glad, Shannon. Good to see you, man. Maybe you're gonna have to come and join the podcast one day.
Guest speaker next week.
Guest speaker, exactly.
And we had Vern. Thanks for joining us. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. It was nice.
Be out there. You know, see you in the near future.
Definitely, dude. And we're gonna have to make a get together, dude, and And I'm gonna have to come out to LA and see the spot and maybe
You gotta come out to La La Land, man.
go explore. I haven't been there in a while.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well,
all right, it's been a great episode, everybody. Thank you for watching. Until next week.
Definitely. Until next week. Thanks, guys.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Remember that.